Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Rob Wilson, and welcome to Strictly Art Live number 74. It is 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time out here in the good old DMV. I imagine it's a little chilly, probably the same as it was last night. Oh, I just been corrected. Last night was about 50, 60 some degrees. That degree of temperature is going to be here later. But I am a comic book artist working on my own independent comic book. Never wanted to work for the big two or the worst two, whichever one you want to call them. I am a social commentator on specifically pop culture stuff for the most part. I try to stay on task for that because who likes truth these days? I'd like to apologize for my absence. I've dealt with quite a few things since hanging out with my pops last week, which entails food poisoning and lower back recovery. So now I'm back here with you at a primetime slot, new schedule, which has paid off because I've worked a crap ton of overtime for the past 10 months. And finally, I am able to reap the benefits of it as well. Got some great news for you. We're going to scrap Devil May Cry. There's not going to be any more talking about Devil May Cry on this show, the Netflix edition, until maybe season 2 comes out. That's as far as we go with that. I do have one last little tidbit to add to it to wrap it up. We're going to get into that. Also, My Hero Academia Vigilantes, episodes 5 and 6, because I believe last episode only covered episode 4, and I couldn't get back to it last week. So we're on it this week, back on schedule. Also, we're going to discuss the Bondsman episode 7, and I'll be drawing throughout the process, so you can see my artwork process, and feel free to ask any questions about my workflow, what it is I'm working on, and what I have planned for the future. I will be mentioning something about the Thunderbolts / New Avengers. That will go in reference to James Gunn's Superman, but it will be short and sweet. No long tirades, no long diatribes, just specific key points. Now, we are streaming live today, or tonight, should I say, from YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, and IG, which I managed to get it to work, and we are back on task. Let's see here. So we are starting, right now I'm continuing to color the Big Blue of the Ches Likes Big Blue. Little comical fan art piece that I've been working on. And it's turning out pretty good. You know, rediscovering certain colors and how to color in this format because I can't hide everything in rendering as I would the comic book format. That's my little technique. But nonetheless, I have the Ches that I'm working on, and also I have the Fairchild poster I'm working on. With the days that I've been graced to have off, I will be catching up with all the pop culture stuff, in addition to being back on Sketchwave on Twitch. You can watch that only on Twitch. You have to see it live. There's no replays of that at all. So that's that. And we're here together tonight for an hour. We'll make it short and sweet. Not going to waste your time. But I'm an artist working on comic book art, and hopefully you like what I'm working on. And if by chance you ask, where could you get this wonderful art? Likes are great, but I gotta say, the purchase of my art is what really shows true appreciation, as it would for any other artist. It's only logical. You can get info and see some of the latest art to buy on my Linktree, I'm starting to understand there is a bit of a stigma with the Linktree because it's used for certain types of business, but I do assure you, I'm an artist. I am not soliciting any type of adult content or adult services. Unlike certain folks that have used Linktree and possibly placed the stigma on it, I'm just an artist here to sell artwork, plain and simple. As we tiptoe towards Dante's Inferno, this is my little bit of peace to enjoy the things I like to do and share it with you. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Let's see. All right. So, as you know, last episode or episode before last, I believe that was 73, 72, did a special on everything Thunderbolts. Excuse me. And I gave my full concepts of what I believe what made it great. And turned out to be pretty fun in my opinion. However, that's not the case in the money it's made. I get it. Some people just said, the hell with it all. I'm not going to see it because it's Marvel, it's Disney, whatever. But I will say this. What was it, about 2 weeks ago? All the controversy was built on the leaked mutant monkeys type of theme that Lex Luthor was playing against Superman to make him sad. So in the Thunderbolts, there is a scene where, there's a couple scenes that build up towards a moment. And one, it's John Walker, U.S. agent, explaining, hey, the rest of you guys are pretty much misfits, but I'm more important here. He just puts it out there, and he says he has a loving wife and kids to go home to, and all that stuff. Something admirable to look forward to, right? And then we get to a point where Bob unleashes the abyss slightly on John Walker, and it makes him remember of the disgrace that he received about his murdering of the Flag Smashers over in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That broke his heart because he was watching social media while he was supposed to have been watching his child. And his wife had got on his case. He said, whatever, man, I guess he tried to continue to be a decent father. But later on, we learned that the complete story is that his wife walked out on him completely. I guess in that scene that the Abyss showed him, or the Void showed him, I don't know why I keep saying the Abyss. The Abyss, Void, what's the difference, right? In that scene where Bob was on the elevator and he activated, he said, well, you know what, why don't you go ahead and just take care of the kid, and then he walks into the other room. Little did we know that, the whole family rolled out on him. So that it made things a little difficult to understand until later. And we got the full story where John Walker's family just like, you're not the model guy that you claim to be. I thought that was really good. And guess what? It beat James Gunn's Superman to the punch with a much more subtle and decent explanation. I enjoyed it. I thought it was very simple, very precise. So, moving on. That's one little tidbit I just wanted to share about that with the Thunderbolts. Like, again, there are a lot of little small pieces to that movie that can be cherished and appreciated. So, moving on, we have Let's see. Yes, Devil May Cry. Let's go ahead and put the nail in the coffin. Season 1's dead. Lady killed it. The director did not kill it in a good way. Let's get that clear. And also, it's to the point where you can't really hide the fact of how bad it is, and that's fine. So, pretty much the rest of the episodes, as we know, I'm sure you've seen it. I'm sure you've heard people talk about it, how it ends and how bad it is. We pretty much wrap it up to the point where, for some reason, they just had to have like a tyrant type of thing. So that's, if people ever didn't understand why the rabbit, consumed the other demon, got really big, turned really huge. It's because as I mentioned before, this show shouldn't be called Devil May Cry. It should actually be called Capcom All Star. You have Mega Man bobbleheads. You have Mike Pence Wesker's team wearing Captain Commando gear. You had, like I said, Mike Pence Wesker. I literally call him that because of his Wesker-like conviction and the look he has too with the shades. I don't think this guy's ever been in a Devil May Cry type of comic or manga, anything of any sort. So clearly he was placed there, product placement. And he also led a group towards the end of the show, which did the mining over in Hell, called Ouroboros. Ouroboros was a type of virus, a much more advanced virus than the T virus in Resident Evil. That was mentioned in the video game. I think it was Resident Evil 5. One of those where Chris Redfield showed up. So don't be surprised if Chris Redfield is not actually does show up in Devil May Cry. They made the mentioning of doing a job in Raccoon City, which was deemed as the worst job. Again, don't be surprised. Season 2, we might get more Capcom and Resident Evil crossover, or the guy setting up to do those anime and destroy those characters as well, those IPs as well. So we shall see. We'll keep tabs and see how things turn out. Now, moving on. My Hero Academia Vigilantes. Something I'm always looking forward to watching. So, let's see. Episode 5, Judgment. That's where we get the introduction of the Slade Wilson-ish type character. Also, we get to see the Crawler's past, why he didn't make it to take the hero exam. He was actually out saving someone in need, and that messed up his career, unfortunately. So from there, honestly, with the female flying girl, I think truly she's got to learn like a secondary skill, because like she ain't helping. There was an opportunity I'll talk about it in a minute, why she's not too helpful. A lot of rage out, a lot of anger, but no actual real help, besides bringing extra pudding to the place. So the episode was kind of campy or whatnot. The most serious moments were Stendhal. One villain that was caught using Trigger had gotten away from Stendhal, and Stendhal basically hunted him down to the point to where the trigger started to wear off, and then he could really tear into him. So that's how he rolled, and he killed him. that villain did not come back. You know, no sequel for him, no point of return. So that's how that went down, and that set the stage also to let you know what kind of character he was, what he was willing to put up with, and what he was not willing to put up with. He kind of reminded me of the Conviction, like Scar. Was that his name, Scar? Um, that was the what do you call him? The hero hunter, or something like that, because he didn't believe that most of the heroes were serious, something like that. So I think that is this guy. That might be him. This is kind of like his origin story too. So moving on from episode 5 to episode 6, crossing lines. Stendhal, he goes after mafia heads, and he has like the concept of his quirk is licking the blood of his enemies, and it paralyzes them for a time. We don't know how long that time limit is, not yet. However, he has proven to be very dangerous, as that's his primary quirk, but his secondary skills is swordsmanship, and he's very proficient at it. He's very agile, high speed. He went toe to toe with Knuckle Duster. Great fight, absolutely great fight. And in that great fight, we actually learned something, that even though Knuckle Duster didn't have a quirk, he was still able to be paralyzed by Stendhal's quirk of paralyzation. So we learned something new there. And the Bumblebee girl, she ends up working for him, feeding him, villains to go after, while she's trying to get something from him as well. A little bit of quid pro quo, as she enjoys the conflict and chaos that is being created by her hand, as she is one of the main progenitors of Trigger. So it's a very interesting concept. Again, the commercial posters that they show for My Hero Academia are so fun. They look cool. I enjoy them. Yeah, just overall fun, decent show. It's not the greatest. All Might's still around, which is always a plus, always a great thing. Always look forward to, I am here now, I did get a chance to see that new, the last, My Hero Academia movie 4, with Dark Might. That was funny. I gotta talk about that over time, because I enjoyed that truly. So yeah, as we tiptoe towards the first half of the show, I'm gonna go ahead and talk to you guys about a little bit of pain that I had to endure. I gotta say, there is so much disease and virus and unusual weather patterns going on right now. It's not a good time to, kick it into high octane. I get it. Some of the athletes, they can afford to do that. They've been staying up to par for a while. But I am no athlete. I just like to stay fit. That's my personal goal, my personal enjoyment. But at the same time, it's important to know what you eat. In my case, I splurged out for a day, and I paid for it. With 2 days of being sick, to the point where certain forms of flexing that I was forced to do end up injuring my lower back. So I've been doing daily physical therapy, meditation, and stuff like that to get it back on track, and it's still not 100%. So the recovery phase is not over yet. In fact, after this show, I'm gonna have to stretch my back out again, because it's truly that bad and painful to me. So it happens, such is life. One can be on the top of the world, and life will give you a shocker. You know, Jamie Foxx, common example, on top of the world, and then out of nowhere, stroke. You know, that's a hell of a reality check. Never know where that comes from. Never know when it may happen, but just take that time when you are sidelined to just be thankful that you are still alive, because there's no guarantee for tomorrow for anyone. No guarantee of tomorrow for anyone at all. So, with that being said, we'll go ahead and take a quick intermission. And when I come back, we will continue with the Bondsman. All right. Thanks for watching right here, Strictly Art Live, number 74. All right, we are back and in action. All right, so the Bondsman, episode 7. Oof, pretty brutal. As things are quickly coming to a close with that season 1 series. Families getting involved. Lucky's having a heart-to-heart with God in church. And he realizes that what he saw were straight up demons, but in the perspective where he thinks that Hub is summoning demons. So his buddy conveniently talks about, "I told you they were witches." Which was a little funny backdrop. And Lucky's trying to make sense of it all. And this was great. I think this was like almost peak Lucky's secondary to the scene where he was trying to calm down. He says, to God that I didn't see the signs of what you were preparing me for, but now I do. And if you need a holy warrior against these demon summoners, give me a sign. His buddy's phone lights up, and his buddy drops the phone. He sees the cops. He's like, "Why are the cops calling you?" He said, "Yeah, they're asking us about so and so's body." He's like, "We don't contact the cops, do we, boss? We're not rats." And he looks forward Lucky looks forward towards the church. He's like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Hey, it was great. I enjoyed it. I think that was a noteworthy scene. Enjoyable scene. So we got Hub. He mapped together all the sites where the demons are making their sacrificial, kills to bring about the apocalypse. And he's got the map and everything. Family's getting involved. The lady that basically told him what his job was, she came to him to see if he was the correct person for the job, and she saw how organized Hub and his family were willing to work together to make this happen. And she was a little nervous that you're going to involve your family. He's like, "Yeah, well, gotta go. So they already made their peace, clearly, that family. And from there, it really came down to evacuating everybody in the area. So they were posing like firefighters. And some people were clearly pretty twisted living on the block. So it was almost like no getting them out. But nonetheless, it did. Hub's Bondsman tactics prevailed, with help from the family. And it really came down to, I guess her name, I don't think it's Maggie. I forgot the larger lady's name. But basically, they're trying to search for that demon. And she came face to face with the demon that possessed a boy. And she really didn't have the guts to do it. So therefore, that entire house got swallowed up and sent straight to hell. I mean, that scene looked quite Devil May Cry-ish, quite hellish. And it was on point. Hub couldn't save him, unfortunately. That was another win for the Dark One. But as the season concludes gradually, we do see that Lucky does confide to the police and shows the photos that he's intimidated Hub's family with prior. So now they have the evidence and everything, and the cops didn't really believe him until he provided the evidence. So now we are down bare bones to the final strikes of conclusion. I guess that's the best way I can put it. The final conflict, Omen 3, one of my favorites, by the way. Everyone always remembers Omen 1, maybe Omen 2, but Omen 3 is my favorite because God wins. That is my personal favorite. So that concludes that episode. We did it all in what, 5 minutes? Was that too fast? Let me know. But nonetheless, I would like to share with you guys dream inspiration. This is a concept that I learned from, or inspiration by dreams. This is a concept I learned from H.R. Geiger. He's the first person I really ever heard of talking about drawing stuff from your dreams in order to take control of your nightmares. Well, this guy, John Fairchild, in my comic book VKP, has connections to this gate. And I had a dream recently, within the last couple of days, where it was like a battle scene, and it was this guy along with some other characters that were duking it out. And it was a really complex plot. that I didn't even consider, didn't even think of. But now I got it. That's what I love about dreams. When they come to you, you better snatch it out of the cloud, so to speak, and run with it. And don't share all of it, but definitely get it out there before somebody else does, because it's not yours in this world until you put it on paper in some format. So that was something I was very thankful to have come to me, and it kind of renewed any ruts I was stuck in about, all right, what's going to happen later on, because I got the initial stuff ready to go. All I lacked at the time was the time, but now I got time. Can't show it all to you now, but in time. Other great news, I did get a chance to get some logos and stuff copywritten. That's being processed now through the U.S. Copyright Office. And it's kind of been a while since I've done that, but I'm going to get back to making that a proper habit. It's not expensive, but I highly encourage anyone that is creating art to get it copywritten as soon as possible. Now, I did put the ink version of the Chez Likes Rockets. I did put the inked version into my digital art store, and that is up $5. I don't ask for much, but nonetheless, I'm an artist. I create stuff. Hopefully somebody finds it interesting and goes beyond just a like or share. Hey, my stuff's for sale. I know this landscape is rather difficult with the whole new artists on the block. That's all I'm going to leave it at that, because I know I've talked ad nauseum about, artificial intelligence. So I'm not going to make this a AI conversation. But nonetheless, it's important to adjust. That's pretty much all I have to say about that. So yeah, physical therapy, getting the tension out of my lower back so I can get back to physical fitness and my martial arts. Getting back on the ginger beer kick, which I think is great, and allows me to keep on working on my stuff. This one I think is a little more complex than the Novera one I did, simply because the background requires a little bit more. And that's okay, I'm willing to do it. I got this poster, I got one more poster to make, and that'll be my sets for when my comic book comes out. So what else is there out there to see in cinema? People have been talking about Sinners. I'll probably check that out soon and give my unbiased feedback. I'm a fan of Michael B. Jordan. Was better what's better than having 2 Michael B's? You know what I'm saying? That's how Jet Li was rolling it. That's how he was rocking it. So I give mad respect to that. Let's see what else. And if you're watching live, feel free to go ahead and drop a comment. Don't be scared. I am not unapproachable. Alright, so yeah, Sinners, I'll check that out. I've heard people say things like, what is it? Oh, they stole from Dusk Till Dawn. Alright, I'll check it out. We'll see. We shall see. Alright. Oh yeah, by the way, I hope everyone had a good Mother's Day. Yeah, I work so much sometimes I miss those holidays, and I'm almost used to missing holidays. I know that's not probably a good thing. But yeah, I guess if I was a family man, that would be more of my focus. And yeah. But to all the mothers out there, happy Mother's Day. So I got my hands on Stellar Blade. I played that for a little bit. It seemed alright. Kind of stiff controls to me. After I played it, I was like, alright, let me get back to some Devil May Cry. But it seemed kind of interesting. I think the costumes were a little too over the top. But it's Sony Entertainment, so stiff controls may be the norm throughout that game. I can't really say, oh, it's because it's not Capcom, because Capcom had a great game called Remember Me, but the controls were absolutely crap. Way too stiff. So, the comparison is hard to call it. But yeah, that's what I try to do. I try to get games once they're a lot cheaper, because I'm not paying $80 a game. Just not doing it. I won't do it. And the way PlayStation is, like, there's only like 1 or 2 games that are new that I would get. But that's not guaranteed every year. So, therefore, Sony's not guaranteed my money every year. And they never shall. So yeah, I'm just kind of like tightening up measurements and lines and everything. For the most part, this is pretty much done. The next challenge would be to add, some ink rendering to it. But yeah, if I have something to share later on tonight, which I'll be drawing throughout the night, if I have something more to share, I probably will share it on Sketchwave, which will be only on Twitch. That's not a guarantee, but we shall see. All right, let's see where we're at. I think we're about to get ready to wrap up this show. Yeah, just kind of slowing things down with all the stuff to talk about. It can be somewhat overwhelming. And I definitely don't like to force the discussion. I like a organic discussion. Which, by the way, I've had some great discussions about Thunderbolts with coworkers, and that have seen it. There's one guy where we do have some pretty good friendly debates from quite a few aspects, whether it's nerd culture or a degree level politics, and we can go about our way afterwards without any form of disgruntled retribution. I know that's kind of hard to do these days. Yeah. So that's always a good thing. Not every environment you can have that kind of conversation, but I think it works well in a male-dominated environment. Obviously things do clash. And so be it. All right. Like I said, I ain't gonna force it. Ladies and gents, I'm Rob Wilson. Thank you for joining me in this show. Prime time. Will this be the norm? Who knows? Maybe a little bit earlier, maybe a little bit later. But just wanted to go ahead and get back in the game. Still in the fight, whether injured or not. We'll make it to daylight. So, thank you for joining me for Sal, episode 74. Next episode will be the 75th episode of Strictly Art Live. That's a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of content, and a lot of artwork that I've shared with all of you. And consistently. Sometimes I've had some guests, but for the most part, this show has been directed specifically on art and creative ideas. So I can't always guarantee that, if people come on, they'll know what I'm talking about, they'll know what I'm referencing. So it works more as a venting process for me, and I enjoy it. So till next time, I'll be drawing all night for the most part, a good portion of it, and then I'll have something set up tomorrow as well. So y'all take care. God bless. Hug the one you love. Cherish them as we make our way towards Dante's Inferno. Hey, what's going on, Omar? Omar Glitch. Yes, sir. Said that pose looks great. Yeah, man, it's another poster in the works. More stuff on the way. So I'm going to go ahead and get the hell off of here. Are you, I saw you were streaming. I figured I could do a quick show before you finish streaming, but I don't know if you got off yet. So, but I'm going to go ahead and get the hell off of here myself. And just work on some stuff behind the scenes. So, y'all take care. Until next time, I'll see y'all tomorrow. I'm Rob Wilson. Gotcha. No problem. We'll catch up, man. Yeah, I hear you. We can only be on live, but so much. My tolerance is probably even shorter than yours. So, it is what it is. Hey, take care, man. See y'all. I'm Rob Wilson, and I'm out.
Hey, Claudius. You killed my father. Big mistake.
Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.